and welcome back to this episode of This Healthy Life podcast. I'm so excited for my guest today. We are going to be learning about glutathione, a molecule that everyone needs to have information on. So I want to welcome Deanna Latson. So thank you so much for being on the podcast today. So excited to chat today.
It's awesome to be here. Thanks.
Yes, absolutely. So I'd love for you to start with a little bit of an intro. How did you get into this world?
Well, I got into this world because I was 65 pounds heavier than I am now, addicted to pharmaceutical medicine and 11-year bulimic.
Wow.
So I think the best teachers are the ones that have gone through a lot in their life and they've overcome it and they've learned the power of the human body. And then I also watched a man, my dad, who was on 17 prescription medications where the medical community was truly doing their best. They didn't know better and said he has to stay on this or he's going to end up with cancer of the esophagus or a heart attack or a stroke. And I was like, there's no other way. And they're like, well, we're doing the best we can. And the day that the doctor told me that, I walked out and I looked up into the heavens and I said, I'll be the one that fixes him. And at that point I was eating fast food and Pepsi and sodas and all types of junk food. And I was starting grad school to double major in advanced public speaking and nutrition with we never notice our own issues, do we?
Never.
Never.
We're exempt.
Yeah, we're exempt. And but through all of that, to make a long story short, I met my mentor and I learned for the first time. I was in a place where I would eat a light Twinkie and I wouldn't eat an avocado.
Wow.
And I met my mentor. I got control of my own health. Got control of 11-year eating disorder, got my life back in check. Then I took a Texas cowboy, rancher, dually truck driving, gun carrying cowboy to change his life. And within 8 months, get off every medication he was on with his doctor's help. And his doctor looked at me and said, this is the most miraculous change I've ever seen in a human being do a change of lifestyle. And at that moment, I knew there's a lot of dads like my dad out there. So I was going to be an academic. That's what I thought my role was going to be. And then I left to become a professional speaker in the topic of health and wellness, and which led me down to another path of starting a health and wellness company and where I am here today. And it's been a beautiful journey because what's really phenomenal about it is you meet people who make a small change and have a drastic thing happen in their body because the body wants to live. I remember when I was interviewing, I had a chance to meet 100-year-olds because science says our body's going to make it to that. And
My grandma's
meeting them-
102. She's just turned 102.
Yeah, my grandma was 101. Her sister was 103. The body can make it to that. And when you look at centenarians, like all of us can do it. So what are tricks we can do every day to kind of get there? And so that's the quick elevator version of how I got here.
It's amazing. Yeah, like you said, like having a passionate, like self journey of how you got into this space, it just makes it so much more meaningful. And, I feel like you can change so many more lives because you've lived it, you've experienced it, and you know how to help others and be passionate about it. So always appreciate hearing the backstory to help people get places.
Yeah, and to know, like, for people who suffer from things like that, I know what you're going through. And I also have seen the power of the human body. And my
Body
dad's
wants to heal.
the body
That's what we
wants
gotta
to
remember,
heal.
right?
It really does. And we just there's so much thrown at us all the time and we don't really know what to do.
And then when your doctors are telling you one thing and you're like, I'm doing all these things, but I just feel like I'm getting worse, or just kind of masking symptoms or creating new problems, like kind of, makes you feel a little defeated and wondering if you lose that trust in your body that it has the power to heal and make a shift for you.
You're spot on. And the reality is doctors mean well, but medical school is hardcore and not much is spent on nutrition. And so, but a lot of time is spent on, surgery and all these other disease kind of, how do you figure out what your disease diagnosis is and pharmaceuticals and not as much on nutrition. There's been a change in that a little bit,
I
but
feel like it's a slow change, right?
it's a slow change. It's a
Medical
slow
school
change.
curriculum is, from what I hear from the doctors I interview, is not changing too quickly or too dramatically. And I feel like, as patients and people living in this world, as we start to conquer some of these illnesses and become sick and, have different sorts of symptoms and issues, you almost have to kind of become your own health advocate and really research things and take things into your own hand.
Well, without a doubt. And because remember, doctors are just human. And so they make their own mistakes. They have their own biases. You and I have our own biases. So not only should you get second opinions or third opinions, this is your life. This is your body. And so someone just says, no, you should go on that drug or be on this drug. And there's not a lot of research on how all these drugs work together. And going back to what you said, the body is always trying to heal. It's really miraculous if we give it the opportunity to do so.
And so I want to touch a little bit about your work as well. So you've been partnering with a lot of large companies, and then now you're part of one, or now you have one of your own. So what kind of shifted you? I want to hear a little bit more about how you got involved with Immunotech.
Sure. So, as I mentioned before, I was a professional speaker, speaking all across the United States to colleges and universities, over 800, and then different corporations like American Heart Association and organizations like that, helping Go Red for Women events. And then I ended up starting a nutritional company with some partners in Utah, which we merged with a public company and sold, and stepped away from that and did some consulting over the a couple of years. And Immunotech was one of my clients, my consulting clients, and I got to know the leadership. And more importantly, through the consulting work, I got to know the culture and the values of the company. And I had a moment one day where I was like, what the heck? I have been in the health field for a long time. I know what glutathione is. I know how important it is in the body. Why have I not been exposed to Immunotech science? Like, why are they keeping this secret? Why isn't it on billboards all over the world? Because they have something super special. And so I ended up talking to Mauricio, who's the CEO and owner of Immunotech, and I said to him, if I was ever gonna go back into the corporate world, the combination of you as a human being who has this, like, never say no attitude, and also just, like, this super happiness culture, and the combination of that strategic, strong leadership with product that had better science than I'd come across in my entire 2 decades in the field, I was a little embarrassed, like, how do I not know about what they're doing? And I said to him, "If I was ever gonna go back, I'd come back with you guys." And then he called me up and said, "You wanna come in and be a part of our corporate team?" And I was like, I believe in you and what you're doing, and I believe in how the product is gonna change people's lives."
Yeah, it's so amazing when, like, you're coming from a place of passion, right? Like we just kinda talked about. It's like you have this story behind you, you helped your dad heal, you helped yourself heal, and you really believe in a company. So I feel like that's, like, when the biggest shifts happen, right? It's not just coming in and feeling like you're gonna
100%.
be a part of this, and you're like, "Okay, I'll do it because you want me to." It's like
No, I
shifts when
already
you
feel
believe it,
so
when you
much
feel it.
internal
Yes,
ownership.
yes. I love that.
Because because now I'm exposed to, all the testimonials and the things that people are
The
experience from being
stories.
able to raise their glutathione levels, and that fuels you. I mean, I never got into this industry, because it was a job. I got into this industry because I went from being fat, sick, tired, and addicted to pharmaceuticals, and I saw what change happened when I changed that and the power of the body. So for me, I mean, there's many companies I consulted with, but I wouldn't be willing to stand up on a stage for and say, "Hey, what they have is spectacular."
So let's talk about glutathione a little bit. So, I mean, I
Mhm.
think everyone's heard the word, everyone knows it's important, but I don't think no one really understands exactly what it is and what it does in our body. So let's kind of start with the basics and let's break down what glutathione is.
Yeah, well, funny enough, I think a lot of people don't know what it is, and they don't know what it is because it's not trendy, it's not a fad, it's not medical staff knows what it is. They've known for a really long time. And here's the thing, glutathione is a tripeptide, okay? And it is in every cell in your body. Every single cell has glutathione on it. And that's why the medical community likes to call it the master antioxidant. And it's the master antioxidant because of all the different functions it does in the system. It is your garbage collector. It is your energy provider. It is your security system. It is found in abundance in your neurological system, in your liver. It plays such a crucial role that we honestly should say that your body and your liver would get overloaded, and not be able to function if you didn't have glutathione in your system. And here's the good news. Your body produces it. Here's the bad news. Every time you drink alcohol, or you feel stress, or you breathe in pollution, or you drink out of that plastic water bottle, or any of those other things.
All the things happening today in
Yeah,
LA.
all those things, what ends up happening is your body uses glutathione to help you deal with all of that oxidative stress. And as you get older and we start aging and we have more exposure to all of these sorts of things, this bummer is our glutathione levels start to decrease in the body. And you can go, I mean, there's lots of supplements on the shelf that say glutathione, even ones that say, "No, we absorb," but your digestive acids break it down. There's no real good research that shows it does much at all. And so you can go to doctors, you can get intramuscular shots, painful, expensive. You can get IVs, expensive. You kn
And who has time for that anyways? I mean,
God,
like,
who has the money
I
for
mean, I
that?
had chronic illness and I had Lyme disease and I was hooked up to a lot of IVs, but I mean, now that I'm healthy, the last thing I wanna do is go get hooked up to more IVs and time consuming, right? I mean, you wanna take care of your health, but at the same time, you have to be reasonable
Totally.
with what's accessible and attainable to fit into your day.
Absolutely, completely true. And me never hearing about the way Immunotec has figured out how to raise glutathiones in the body. The reason why I was so bummed about this and like, wow, embarrassed I did not know this is because this is a dream come true to medical professionals. I mean, it's why their products are in hospitals. It's why their products are in universities. And so if you look at low levels of glutathione and its correlation to disease and issues, correlated to digestive issues, neurological issues, immune system issues, cancer. I mean, low levels of glutathione affect all those areas of the body because remember, it's in every cell, and it is your security system. It is your energy
Does everything for
production.
us.
It really is, and it's it's your garbage collector. It it
Keeps
it makes
everything running
sure
smoothly.
everything running smoothly. That's why everybody should know what glutathione is. I mean, I think it's like the little secret hack to biohacking and anti-aging. And so I hope that everybody watching, knows the word glutathione
They should
because
after this.
more people want to.
Yeah,
I need to. They don't want
absolutely.
to, they need to. I want them to because of how critical it is in the body.
Mhm, and I think you made such a good point, right? Like, I mean, it's not, like, the sexiest thing to take, right? Like, it's like NAD is
No,
having its moment, and everyone knows about that. Now we need to get
totally.
glutathione on the stage and make that more well known.
Yeah, because literally your cells aren't functioning without it.
Your
It's
whole
in
body's not
everyone.
functioning
Your
without
whole
it.
body is not
Let's be real.
functioning without it. Absolutely.
Mhm. And so let's talk a little bit about, you talked about some of the areas that are affected, like neurological system and things like that. What are some symptoms that can kind of come through as like glutathione's declining or signs that you're low in glutathione?
I mean, first of all, when the science looks at people and disease and they have tested Alzheimer's patients, dementia patients, Parkinson's patients, across the board, they have low levels of glutathione. So there isn't like all of a sudden you're going to wake up one day and you have a symptom that you're low in glutathione. Your body just starts producing less. It's a part of what people feel as aging, you know? So it's not exactly symptomatic quite like that, which is why it's not very trendy or why it's not very sexy. Because it it's working in the background to do all of this for us, and then people accept this breakdown in their bodies is normal.
Or they attach it to something else, right? Like you said, like, "Oh,
Totally.
I'm having Parkinson's
Stress or
symptoms," or
whatever it
"I'm just
is.
getting older and this is how I'm supposed to feel." I think that's one of the worst myths that definitely needs to be debunked. Like, you should
I
not
think it's
feel.
normal to break down and deteriorate, but it's not natural.
Yeah, and I mean,
It's a reflection of a lot of
and the
things.
idea that you're just like, "Oh, I'm getting older, this is what's supposed to happen," is, like, the
Totally.
biggest myth that needs to be debunked because, like, we shouldn't. There's no reason, like you said, like, there's people living to 100, 101, 102 that are having, like, healthy lifespans and health spans, right? And, what are they doing differently? Like, how are they not succumbing to old age like the rest of
Absolutely.
us that are just kind of putting that title on everything that happens to us?
And I'm not gonna say that. I mean, no one can say that, "Oh, they have this because they're low in glutathione. What I'm saying is it's in every cell of your body. It is responsible for getting the cells to energize your natural killer cells. It's responsible for getting your liver to detox the body. And so as your garbage collector, as your energy, production in your system, as your security guard in the body, when it goes down, your body is more susceptible to all these other issues. And when science tests these individuals, and they look at their levels, they have low levels of glutathione. I mean, we have double-blind, placebo-controlled studies of patients going through cancer therapy and chemotherapy on the positive benefits of keeping their glutathione levels higher while they go through these things, which is why it's used in hospitals like McGill University and some of the best hospitals in Asia, actually, and I mean, these are just a few. There's, like, over 200 institutions that utilize it. It's like this little secret that doctors had in the background, like, "Why'd you keep it from us? Why are you holding the secret?" For our ability to actually raise our glutathione levels in our body.
So let's talk about that. Let's talk about how you do raise them because we
Yeah.
talked about, methods of administration. So like obviously IVs and IM shots are not the most exciting way to go. And you mentioned taking it orally. Our digestion kind of breaks it down. So how do we get our glutathione levels up? What's the best way to take it?
Yeah, I mean, that was the question I didn't know an answer to prior to joining and being a part of the Immunotec team. I didn't know there was a way to do that. I mean, there's some dietary things that have shown some promise that you eat, but you can't just do it alone through diet. And the supplementation orally, almost most people are wasting their money on that. And the supplement industry, it's filled with great players, good players, and bad players. And the bad players give the industry a bad name. And so, in the glutathione world, because it is very susceptible to the breakdown in your digestive system, you could take tons of it orally and it really does nothing.
And so it's taking it orally. There's a lot of like liposomal forms too, which I think are kind of like the more popular way to market
Sure,
it. So what's the
but I
difference
have
with
yet to
those?
see, my science team is yet to see clear data that that makes a big difference. So,
But it's
what
still
happens?
oral, so it's still going through your digestion, right?
Completely. So, and they say the liposomal protects it, but there isn't the best data to support that. So, about 30 years ago, 25, 30 years ago, there was a doctor who started looking into the ways in which you could raise your glutathione naturally. Understood you couldn't take glutathione, but what could you take as a precursor? What could you give your body? Because we make it, you make it, I make it. Everybody watching makes it. So what could we do to make more of it? What can we do to slow down the decline of our body, making less? And he figured out that was the answer. So how do you get the body to make more? And that's where the immunocal products come in because it is a glutathione precursor. And I just need to make myself super clear here. Over 90 published studies, what are we at? 78, 79 patents. And out of those 90 published studies, 25, 26 of them are the gold standard in studies. And what I mean by gold standard in studies is they're double blind, placebo controlled studies. Your average nutritional supplement company out in the world today is not doing that because that's tens of millions of dollars spent. This company was originally started in Canada by doctors and researchers, and it was going doctor to doctor. It wasn't even met on normal consumer level. So they poured tons of money into researching what can we do to raise the glutathione levels, and they figured it out. They figured it out with a glutathione precursor. They have really strong data that shows it raised your glutathione levels, and that is why they have testimonials that would make you cry, make you gasp, make you jump with joy, because when you raise your glutathione levels, lots of incredible things start happening in the body. And they did it. They figured it out. And their science, as I mentioned to you before, is one of the reasons why I came on board because it's undeniable. And it's a really interesting, I like to call it like medical food in a pouch. And it comes from whey. They have a patented process in being able to manufacture it. And it is done so precisely every single step because it is so fragile. So even when somebody gets the product, there's instructions like don't blend it, don't do this. You put it in a cup with this much water and you shake it because it's a bonded cysteine that's fragile. And that's how we keep it intact so your body can utilize it and be able to create more glutathione in the system. I honestly think it's one of the best products I've come across in my entire adult career in the health and wellness world.
Well, I hope so because you've joined them.
Well, totally.
That says a lot, right?
I've
I mean,
seen a
that
lot of
yeah,
really
for
great
you to
products.
be on board with it and become part of the
Yeah.
company, so
And when you raise your glutathione levels, not only do your body functions happen better, your cells do their job better, but glutathione is also responsible for repurposing vitamin C and vitamin E. So it helps all these other antioxidants in your body perform better as well. I mean, we could create a long list of all the things glutathione does. And most people who haven't heard about it, when they hear that list, think, what the heck? Why don't I know this?
and why am I not taking the right form, right? Because I think a lot of people are maybe, if they do know about it, are maybe taking a form that's not really doing much for their body.
And remember, Immunotec doesn't sell glutathione.
Still the precursor.
It's a precursor. It's let's help your body do what it does best. And let us prove it before we ever sell you anything. And that's the big differentiator is the studies and all of the reference data that is done to the gold standard that shows you no, no, no. When you spend $1 with the company, you get that back in value and more because of the benefit, the health benefit to your body.
And so let's talk about that kind of timeline and the health benefits a little bit. So when someone starts embarking on, taking the precursor and trying to build up more glutathione in their body, what does that kind of look like? When do you start to feel like you notice something? As we talked about, like it's not going to be an immediate fix. You're not going to take it and be like, oh, I feel a million times better. What does that kind of timeline look and feel like?
Well, for the reality is for everybody, it's different, right? And so it depends on your age. It depends on anything that you might be struggling with. Some people see different changes in their body week 1, some people in 30 days. So it just depends on what it is that you happen to be struggling with. A lot of times when companies say like, "Oh, you'll have these results in 3 weeks," they're not taking into account to everybody's different and everyone's immune system is functioning differently. And so it really just depends where you are. But I mean, we've seen people, like I said, in a week, seen people in a month, have a dramatic difference in their body and well-being and wake up one day and go, wow, my digestive system is acting so differently. Or wow, my recovery as an athlete is so much better. There are 3 main products that are the glutathione precursors is the Immunocal Original, the Immunocal Platinum, and the Immunocal Sport. And Sport is used with professional athletes all over the world, Olympic athletes. And that has additional ingredients in it that help with recovery. And those athletes, their testimonials, I mean, they see improvements in the recovery right away. Platinum is for a more of our slightly older crowd who need additional immune function and bone health. People see results quickly. And then our original is like, hey, in your 20s, your glutathione starts to go down. So let's be proactive and be real biohackers and do what we can to get the body to perform at its best.
Yeah, and keep it from getting sick and chronically ill as we get older, right? You want to have that
Completely.
healthy health span and lifespan.
Yeah, the problem is a lot of us don't think like that either. we wait until we're broken
Yes.
till we decide to do
I
something, which
feel
is
like
such a bad
I know, I
strategy.
know. I feel like I learned that lesson early, having Lyme disease when I was in my 30s, like, really kind of just kickstarted, like, "Oh my god, I need to take care of my body," because I think when you're younger and, even, like, middle age, I think, like, you feel kind of invincible, right? You're like until something
Totally.
happens to you and catches up to you that really kind of, like, wakes you up or snaps you out of it to realize, like, "Okay, this is the only body I get. I'm stuck in it. I better make sure this is all working well because
Completely.
otherwise this is not fun."
You know how many wealthy, super smart individuals I know that have spent their life amassing wealth, spent their life, doing the things they love, and then all of a sudden wake up one day and have to spend all their money to get their health back? Oh my goodness, that's such a bad strategy. I mean, do you really wanna be retired traveling the world in a walker with your bag of pharmaceuticals because
Absolutely
you're a
not.
mess?
Yeah.
And but that's the strategy that so many people go through. And I think if you can truly tap into something that is preventative, if you can truly get your body to perform the way it was meant to perform, even and maybe even better, well, why wouldn't you do it? And I gotta tell you, if I have anybody in my family that has neurological concerns, or genetic predispositions to any of that, man, it's like an insurance policy. Let's do the best thing I can to get my body to be able to protect myself. I think that's a great plan. And
Much
and I
better.
know young people don't think like that, but I will tell you the young people in my life, the 26-year-old, the 29-year-old, the 17-year-old, I have them all on the product because I know that even at 20 years old, you start to decline.
Especially in the world we live in today too, right? Like you mentioned, like so much toxic exposure and,
Totally.
in our food, our soil, our air, the fires,
The
and,
cleaning
everything, the cleaning
products, the
products.
stress,
Yes. The fragrance, which is basically like the new secondhand smoke, which is
completely.
completely depleting your glutathione and your
So,
detox
well,
pathways.
what happens is your body's glutathione goes to work and you end up using it up. So, I mean, do you drink alcohol? Are you around smokers? Do you use cleaning products in your house? Do you have stress in your life? Are you working out a lot? Well, then you end up with oxidative stress in your body. Well, that's where your glutathione, your security guard, your energy company, your, garbage collector is, sirens. Let's go to work and
Wasting
keep
it.
the
We're
body.
wasting it on those things.
We're wasting it, but we have to live.
Yes,
So,
of course.
but there is options.
Yeah.
There's options to be able to build it back up into your body to get your body to perform. And yeah, I'll say it again. It's why I'm here.
And so let's talk a little bit about testing your levels. So is this something that people can say, like, go to their doctor and say, "Hey, I want to see what my glutathione levels are at," and kind of test before they start using the product and after to kind of monitor how that's going? Or what do you
Yeah, you
recommend with that?
definitely can get tested for it. Yeah, absolutely. Just like vitamin D levels. It is particular on the time of day, and so when you get a baseline and you get a test, you wanna stay consistent. That's not my expertise, but there are doctors that know exactly how to be able to do that, and absolutely, like anything else, if you end up taking a vitamin D product, you can get tested prior and get tested after as a normal part of your blood work and see, "Hey, does the product work?" Or you could log on to the website and just look through all the clinical data. It's a little boring, but nowadays with AI, you could just plug it into AI and
Yes.
say, "Will you
Give
summarize
give me
this
a
for me,
little a
please?"
two-sentence summary of what's going
Yeah,
on
will
here.
you pretend I am in grade school and tell me exactly what all this says? Yeah, we have 2 new patents coming out. We were just granted, I don't know that I can talk about it quite yet, but we were just granted in the neurological
Oh,
space.
wow, that's exciting.
And yeah, they're application patents. And for an application patent, huge percentile get turned down. You have to provide an enormous amount of research data that shows that you're doing something unique and different and that the science actually works. And so, even with everything they already have and the tens of millions already spent, their science team feels so passionate about it that they still move forward. I know. And Mauricio, the CEO and owner of the company, still has them move forward. I look at it and go, "Well, you already have a book of proof.
How much more do you need?
Do we really need more proof?" But, I mean, but that's how much they believe in the benefit it'll have on the body. And you know what's really interesting? They have customers that have been on the product for decades because they've seen what it did for their bodies.
That's actually one of my next questions. I wanted to see if you can share maybe 1 or 2 of your favorite success stories of using the product. I'm sure you have so many, but what are some maybe 1 or 2 that really stick out to you?
So, I was in Houston in the corporate office here in, the United States, and Mauricio, the CEO, showed me a video of a young girl who had a lot of skin issues, like an autoimmune reaction in her skin, and had tried all types of things, topical steroid creams, and the videos are very hard to watch. But when her daughter went on the product and her daughter's body started producing more glutathione, her body started to have a healing response. And when you look at somebody struggle, I mean, I'm thinking about the video, it's almost bringing me to tears. When you look at somebody struggle and you see the difference, um, just by getting their body to do what it naturally is supposed to do, you think, "Oh, that's some magic right there in a box." And then I'll share one with you even personally. As a bulimic, as someone who'd struggled with that for a large portion of my life, abused laxatives, did all types of things to really destroy my digestive system. My digestive system has not been the best for my whole life because of how much I abused it as a young girl. My personal experience on the product was, I didn't notice anything day 1 or day 2 or day 3, day 4, day 5. And then all of a sudden I was like, "Whoa, oh my gosh, my digestion is so different." My dig and I remember thinking to myself like, "Whoa, my body is behaving in a way that it has not really behaved for, like, in forever." I get little glimpses of good digestive behavior in my body because of how much I've messed it up. And so personally, I noticed after being on the product after a month that it had a dramatic effect on my digestive system. And I in one day thought, wow, this is what it feels like to have a digestive system that is functioning like it should be. And it was my own little aha moment. But I'll tell you, even the double-blind, placebo-controlled studies where patients that are going through chemotherapy, whether you agree with chemotherapy or not, it's hard on the body. There's really good results on how it supports their system. And those patients could talk to you for days about the benefits in their body and the way in which their body responded to more their body producing more glutathione.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, it is.
There's so many things that I can help that I think people just don't have a grasp about yet,
It
right?
feels untrue
Yeah, it almost feels like
because
it's too
there's
good to be
so
true. You're
many
like, "Take this
100%.
supplement and it'll change your life," right? There's so many supplements that say that, but this is
It
truly something that your body does need and use every single day and actually will actually change
absolutely.
your life.
Remember, it is in every cell.
Yeah.
Every single cell in the body. There's no arguing about that. So if we can get our body to produce more, well, heck, it's gonna have a positive effect on you, and it's probably gonna affect you differently than it affects me. And when we talk about it, it does seem like this is too good to be true. But your glutathione machine in your body that does so many different functions is too good to be true. That's what your body's so friggin' amazing. It does what it's supposed to do, but it also ages and declines and it loses its ability. It's why a young child gets hurt, they heal so much faster than an older adult because as we age, our body functions aren't functioning as well. So if we can help fix this one area with the molecule that's in every cell, everybody's gonna have different reactions in their body, but they're only gonna be positive.
And so let's talk a little bit about what's one of the biggest kind of myths or misconceptions that you hear about glutathione that you want to dismiss?
I mean, I think the biggest issue when people talk about glutathione is that they can take it orally.
Yes, I agree. I mean,
That's the biggest
especially after, like, hearing everything that you're saying, but I've always, like, kind of heard that too, right? Like, the oral version doesn't really
Yeah, but
work,
that's because
but
'cause you're tied into the health world. And so we can't assume
that
that
most
the
people hear
mom
that.
sitting
Yes, I
in
agree.
North Dakota or Montana or Wisconsin, who is not tied into the health world knows this. And I mean, it goes back to the issue I have with the supplement space. I remember some time ago when the Attorney General in New York, went to, Walgreens, Target, Walmart, and they pulled off, like, 800 supplements. They tested them all, DNA tested them, and, like, 85% failed. So the supplement industry is is not regulated like it should be, which is why if you're going to put your hard-earned money into a product that you're going to ingest, which is usually a concentrated amount, you want to make sure that that company that you're trusting your money in, that you're trusting your health in, has done the work to prove it out, which means there's third-party validation. So third-party validation, clinical data to actually show that it works, those are critical. And I also look for companies that sell outside the United States because interestingly enough, if you manufacture here in the United States and you send to another country, there's massive amounts of regulations where you have to prove that your product is tested free of contaminants. You have to prove that it is what you say it is. So when you have a company, because we don't have everything, when you have a company that sells in other parts of the world, they've had to go through lots of other hoops. I can go home, make a product in my garage, and I can sell it to you in the United States, right? I can do it every
Crazy.
day of the year. And you take it in and you don't know, which is why when the attorney general took all those products off the shelf, they failed. There were ingredients in there that weren't supposed to be in there. People weren't able to make an educated choice. So
And
there's
don't get me started on the Amazon supplements too. That
oh,
those are, like,
all
not
the
even
that
the
is even
real
worse.
thing.
All of the counterfeits.
Yes.
So you have companies that are not doing the third party testing. It's very expensive to do. So most companies won't do that. It's really, really pricey. Every time we do a lot of Immunocal, it gets third party tested. It gets sent to a lab who logs on their third party website the lot number from the box and says, "We ran this testing." That's thousands of dollars from every lot number. Well, the smaller supplement companies they don't have the budgets for that. They don't have the infrastructure for that. But what that allows us to do is get our products registered around the world because we have the proof that it is what we say it is. We have the proof that it's free of contaminants. We have the proof that athletes can take this and not worried about have a substance that's going to hurt them. We have proof that military personnel can take this and nothing's on the banned substance list. Those are all third party certifications that have done that job. And we've spent all that money in testing. We spent tens of millions in research validating that it works. And we ship all over the world, which requires an enormous amount of documentation and paperwork to show that we're not lying. Because when you import to another country, the country is they're hardcore on you.
Yeah.
Like, you
More
want to bring
scrutiny
that
there
product?
than our own country, right?
Well, it works both ways. Like when you bring things into countries, the countries are very like,
Wanna make sure
you totally.
it's
They're
all
not sure.
good.
We don't want you to give something to our people. So there's a benefit when you're working with an international company or you're buying products from an international company because they have to take extra steps to validate that their products are what they said it is.
I got time for one more question. So, I mean, we've covered a lot of topics here today about glutathione and aging and healthy aging. What's the one core thing that you wish people will walk away from this podcast with today?
You know, I remember in college when I was sick and fat and I was um, addicted to pharmaceutical medicines. Now, I remember how helpless I felt. And I just thought that this was the way to be. And listen, we all have different bodies. And there's people with extra junk in the trunk that are healthier than some people who are really thin. So weight does not determine health. However, I struggle with an eating disorder, and so I was up and down and had no control over the excess weight on my body. And so I felt helpless, and I thought my body was fighting against me. And I think with a little bit of time and effort, nowadays we have so much information at our fingertips. You can figure out how to biohack your body and get your body to perform like it should. And what I really hope from people is the commitment to love themselves enough that they aren't one of those folks that have worked hard all their lives and now it's time to retire and enjoy life. And now they don't have the health to do that. And so what I really hope for people is that they make a commitment to love their bodies well enough that they take the small steps to protect it. And there are companies out there who are honest, integrous, really want to sell something that works, really care that if you spend money with them that you get that back in value. Um we're one of them. There's other companies that it have products that we don't have. And I think spending that little time is the difference between feeling like it's normal to be sick and tired. But remember that is not natural. And and I remember working with interviewing some centenarians. And I remember this man in Japan who he was 103. And when asked, "What's the first thing you do in the morning?" He's like, "Oh, I open up my blinds or my windows so the neighbors know I'm still alive." And he had a joy about him. And so not only can you find products and help your body do what it does best to fight against oxidative stress, to fight against all the things that hit us every day, chemicals in our water, chemicals in our food, chemicals in the air, in our home, whatever it might be, we're constantly hearing these things. So we have products that can help that. Mindset plays a huge role. That's another thing with Mauricio, the CEO of this company. When he told me happiness is something I live by, it's a choice. And you saw the combination of the mental health with the dedication to the physical health in the body, that combination together, man, it's a winning combination. And I met one other centenarian, and she was like the wee bowling champion of her assisted living home.
That's so awesome.
And there was a sign on her door that says, "If I'm sleeping, wake me up. I need your company more than my sleep."
Oh.
And so know that, and I know I've already said it, I'm gonna say it again. It is normal to break down and deteriorate. It is not natural. Do not be the person that saves and saves and saves and raises your children and takes care of everybody else and then feels like crap because there's things you can do. And I feel so blessed that I finally found a company that had a product that can actually raise your glutathione levels, the master antioxidant. It's nicknamed for that as a reason, and be a part of a culture that is committed to positive mental health and happiness and products that really work. That's a win-win.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because I think, the mental health and the happiness is such a big part of like healthy
Sure.
aging as well, because that's just another stressor on your body, right? If you're
Sure.
not happy and like you said, taking care of everyone else except yourself and,
Totally.
wearing yourself down in that regard, you have to be happy and have purpose as well, which is so important.
Absolutely, and there's lots of parents out there that will spend this for their kids and that and don't spend it on themselves. I mean, like, if I had to choose a handful of things that every parent or a person in my age range or 30s or 40s and 50s should do, like, hey, make sure you have clean water, make sure you have good food. And for me, and I'm not just saying this because I'm internal, I came to Immunotec because of this. I called my mom and said, I can't believe I have never found this and didn't give it to you. Like, you have to take it every day. I mean, I felt a fire in my belly when I read the research And so I'm not saying this because I I I I come from a place I've never thought about money. I come from a place of, like, this stuff works. People will benefit. They need to know. They need to know they could raise their levels, and it will affect them. And if you work on your mental health, if you feel good, your mental health is better too. And there's no reason why we have to feel like crap every day. I mean, you struggle with your own stuff. And what does that do to your mental health?
Tears you down.
Tears you down. When I was bulimic, my mental health was a mess. It was awful, and so when you feel better, your mental health comes too. I hope everybody is happy and healthy and moving around and enjoying life and surrounds themselves with people that love them and lift them up in this world and have found some good products that really change their health and wellness because they're out there. They're out there, and they work.
Amazing. Well, Deanna, thank you so much. This has been super insightful. And if people want to find out more about you and Immunotech, what's the best place to find you?
I mean, I'm the only Deanna Latson on Instagram. There's not many Deanna Latsons out there. And then Immunotech's website is perfect, just immunotech.com, and it's a great place to go to learn more. All the patents are there. You can see the patent list. You can look at some of the clinical studies. Dr. Jimmy Gutman is one of our really well-known doctors. He has an entire website on glutathione. You could just Google Jimmy Gutman glutathione, you'll find it. And he's got videos, you can learn more. I mean, we just touched the top level surface. If you really want to know about neurological benefits and all that, you can go look it up. It's all there. You can listen to his videos. I mean, really, they pioneered glutathione precursors. They're the ones. Other people utilize their research when they talk about it. So it's not hard to find in our digital age.
We're going to link to everything in the show notes as well. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It was really fun.
Thank you.